be back this afternoon. We have some good information. There has been some new information regarding Brooke Hanlon that I really want to share with you because I think it's very interesting. Let me get this turned on. Hey guys, good to see you. Good to be back here this afternoon. Coming to you from like a nice Melbourne today. It's actually sun shining. It was brutal last night. Last night it was like fog. It looked like a horror movie everywhere. It doesn't look like that today. It looks a lot a lot more normal. It's good to see you guys. Good to be back. Let me get set up. I'm sure maybe people didn't see the video get put up, but hopefully people got a reminder. Hopefully people did. Hey, good to be back here this afternoon. Yeah, let's talk about Brooke Hanlon because we've all been wondering, like, what is going on in this particular case. If you don't know what it is, Brooke Hanlon is a 35-year-old woman. She has a little baby that's 1 years old this month in July. And unfortunately, she was found dead in her home in Chester, New Jersey, about a month ago. And since then, we've had no information, like nothing. Like they won't tell us who was there, where the 911 call came from, nothing. They won't tell us like where the husband is, who might have called that 911, who might have been in the home at the time. Did someone come and find her? How did someone find her? Like there's just so many questions that are unanswered at this time. So, there was an interview that went down in the last probably like 12 hours to Fox Digital. This is happening with Brooke's sister, Paige. And Paige spoke to Fox Digital. And there's a quote that I really want you guys to listen to. Listen to what she has to say, okay? She says here, speaking about the possibility of the husband James Connor Hanlon being a suspect. Okay, listen to this quote. Her sister says, "It's a homicide, and there are a lot of details that my family and I don't know, and a lot that we can't comment on publicly. As much as I'd like to scream from the rooftops about how I feel, I have to protect the integrity of the case." So, in a month, we've had no call for a suspect, no like CCTV with like who's this person running down the street at 4:30 in the afternoon in a quiet rural neighborhood in New Jersey. Instead, we get a quote like that. We get a quote like that. If she could, she would scream from the rooftops about how I feel. Huh. Scream from the rooftops, hey? And that they have to protect the integrity of the case. Protect the integrity of what case? We don't even know if they like if they have the person or yeah, like so hey Astro. Astro says they know the husband did it. I think that's where it's going. I think honestly that's where it's going because why would you say something like that? If this was a mystery, if this was like your sister was killed in her home by a random intruder, wouldn't you be asking the public for help? They don't seem that. I know I don't want to like guess someone's grief, but the messaging from them is very different to what you might expect if this was a mystery. If this was like, well, we don't know who hurt my sister. We really need the public's help. They're not. That's not the message that they are putting out. The message they're putting out is when asked about Connor or James Connor Hanlon being a suspect, her sister said, "It's a homicide. There are a lot of details that my family and I don't know, and a lot that we can't comment on publicly. As much as I'd like to scream from the rooftops about how I feel, I have to protect the integrity of the case." I don't know, guys. You know, on the subject of it being her husband, possibly the person who killed her, there's her husband right there, by the way. Um, yeah, it's strange. There is also another quote here. They went to the neighborhood and spoke to a neighbor who actually knew the Hanlons, and this neighbor had like a connection to Connor and would actually talk to him, sort of like neighborhood stuff. Hey, there's a bear in the neighborhood. Keep an eye out. I saw a bear going through your rubbish bin. That type of thing, neighborly things. And this guy says, I mostly texted with him. We'd lived here for about a year. He'd text me whenever bears were around. He said the pair were texting back and forth about bears in the area days before Brooke's killing. He said, we were actually doing that just the other day, I think around June the 2nd, when he reached out because a bear had gotten into his trash. That was the last time I heard from him. The neighbor said he texted Connor concerned about the police activity at the home and said, I saw a lot of cops out there Saturday. I texted him saying, hey man, I saw all the police at your house. If you guys need anything, let me know. And he never responded after that. So make of that what you will between the two different quotes that have come out, one from a neighbor who used to speak to Connor, and then one from the sister of the poor girl who was, murdered. So who's messaging me? Yes. Okay. Yeah, so there you go. I thought that when I was researching it earlier, I was like, wow, it's really interesting that you would come out, speak to Fox Digital about that type of thing, and give that quote. Hold on. Hey Danny, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Hey Colleen, how are you, my friend? It is a bit crazy, right? Because just to me, when you have a woman, and we've all heard of sort of like the pretty white girl syndrome in true crime, you have the trifecta here. You have a fairly attractive young white lady that was killed in a home in broad daylight, 4:30 in the afternoon. She's also a mom. Now, if there's one thing that the media love, it's a white girl who was killed in her home and is a mother. And I don't mean to be mean about that. It's just we have evidence of it dating back over the last, you know, 5 decades of media. And we know that's sort of like the things that they love. And it's strange on this one how no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to bring it up. And I don't want to I don't want to do that just to, grief vampire the family, but it's just strange. If you had a murderer running around this neighborhood in Chester, don't you think the community should know? Don't you think the community should know if it is not the husband and it is a random person, don't the community have a right to know if they're safe in their homes? Like, this happened in broad daylight, 4:30 in the afternoon, in the middle of summer. So, I'm confused why the cops are just like, "Oh, we don't wanna give you any information at all. Nothing. Don't wanna tell you if it's the husband, if it's not the husband, if it's someone else, if it's a third party, nothing." So, it's odd, very odd. Hey, Astro. So yeah, I find it a bit weird. That's why I want to keep talking about it, is because I'm just confused about the whole situation. There has been a few attempts at trying to get more media about it, but so far it's been uneventful so far. Uh, what? We're going to talk about this one in a minute. Yeah. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Thanks for sending it to me. So yeah, that is the big quote coming out in the last, I think that came out in like the last 12 hours or so. Definitely wasn't online when I was doing my live show yesterday, but it definitely came out overnight for you guys. So Yeah, it's, just a bit odd, just a bit strange, and I'm just trying to see if there is an update. Okay, so I was just checking out some Facebook comments from a local news, or I think it's a radio station, New Jersey 101.5, and they did sort of like a podcast update today on it. And I mean, they don't really have much to add. They did like 2 minutes and didn't add anything to it. But there is some suggestion, like, there's people, I don't know where this rumor came from, but I told you about it the other night, that people are saying that the husband is in a mental health facility, but where did that information come from? I've seen it posted by multiple people, but I don't know where the hell it came from. I can't find a source for that information, but people keep repeating it. So don't take it as gospel. Take it for what it is, some sort of online rumor, but I can't find a source for it. And I've been looking to try and find who originally said that he was in a mental health facility after Brooke was killed. So I can't find anything. But a lot of people here saying, why won't the cops tell us who called in the 911 call? If that's a very innocuous, like, detail, why can't you just tell us who called up the 911? And why can't we have the 911 call? Like, we've had other true crime cases, and within 48 hours, we get the 911 tape. But this one, no tape. Not allowed to have it. Not in public. We've had a bit of a transcript of it, but not a full recording. Hey, let me see. Hey guys, good to see you. Glad you're all finding the thing here. Danny said, Who does he work for?" He works for a giant company. They're like, here, I'll find it for you. He works for a big company. They were approached for comment a little while ago, and they were told that they weren't allowed to comment either, and that the cops had told them to not, um, to basically not give out any details about anything. So we found that a little weird as well. Hold on, I'll find out where he works. It's a big construction company, I believe. That's not my story. Where is it? Where is this information? I don't have it, but I just know that he works for a fairly large organization nearby. The other thing is, they added here in the Fox article, they said down here, where is it? Here. Court records indicate that Connor has no prior arrests or criminal history and has not been accused of any crime or wrongdoing. I think that's just a legal disclaimer. Okay. So yeah, I think it's just a legal disclaimer. They talk about the baby. So she's had a child in the last year, right? And you would think if dad was around, that dad would have the baby. But according to this, it says that the baby is being cared for currently by family. But that's all they'll say. And then they say here, everything we do now is about preserving Brooke's legacy. That's all we can really do. You never think something like this will happen to your family until it does. I never imagined Brooke's life ending in such a violent, tragic way. And that's according to her sister. Now, reading around some of the New Jersey social media haunts online, I was trying to get a feel for like what the locals think. And one comment that kept coming up over and over again, and we did talk about it the other night, was the $1,000 reward for information. And a lot of the locals in New Jersey were saying that's like the lowest reward possible for a homicide. They were saying, like, that's something you do when your cat goes missing or, your dog is stolen. You go, $1,000 reward for information about my dog. Not for a woman who's killed in her home at 4:30 in the afternoon. So the locals are just as confused as we are. I think they are just don't understand like what's going on. And it could be good for good reason too. Could be good for good reason. Um how old is he or she? She's 35. I think he's a similar age. Hold on. You always ask me questions when I leave the page. I believe she's 35, right? Yeah, she's 35. I think he's the same age. Yeah, let me go here. I'll go. There's a different article where it has both their ages. Hold on. Yeah, this one. Let me check. No. He's 1 year older than her. So she was 35 and he's 36. So 1 year difference in age bracket. All right. And yeah, just a lot of questions still this far into it. I was reading around like there's places called like Jersey Coast Emergency News on Facebook, and they're one of the big sort of like local community groups on Facebook, and they were sort of sharing similar information that we've been talking about. So it seems like everyone has the same questions. Um, Sweet Universe said, someone in my neighborhood put up $2,000 for her missing dog. Yeah, this is a dead woman. And they're like, hey, we have $1,000 if you can solve a homicide. I mean, it's a bit weird. So, what we were told, for people who maybe didn't catch this story the other night, what we were told is that a 911 call was placed at, what? Oh. A 911 call was placed at 4:30 in the afternoon, and the caller on the phone specified that Brooke Hanlon had a injury to her breast area. So in her chest area, she had a severe, they're calling it like a laceration, but I don't think that's the right word. It's most likely a puncture wound from a a knife or a sharp object. They called it a laceration, but when I think of laceration, I just think of like a cut, not a puncture or something that goes through the body. And they were saying, yeah, a injury to her breast area, and that's what they were specifying on that 911 call. Yeah, I'm just gonna try find the, original 911 call thing. Hold on, because we had it the other day. Okay, must be on this one. Give me a sec, I'm just gonna find it. Oh, yeah, Brooke Hanlon. Daytime murder. Yeah, here. So, the 911 call came in at June 6th at 4:30 PM, and the details on it basically said that they don't tell us who called or who found her or why. And that's one of the things we're missing. But yeah, just that it came in at 4:30 in the afternoon and that they said that she had a wound to her breast area. And the cause of death is multiple sharp force injuries. Multiple, not one, multiple. So she was stabbed multiple times. They're saying here that that 911 call was placed at 4:30 p.m. that day on June 6th from her home. So inside the home, not outside somewhere else, inside of that home in Chester. And they're saying Brooke 35 was in cardiac arrest and had suffered a large laceration to her chest. And they're saying some media have listened to that 911 call, but for whatever reason, they're not allowed to publish it, like the actual call. Don't know why. Um, what I think is interesting here, uh, what I think is interesting here is that they say that she's in cardiac arrest. Now, if you are attacked by someone with a knife and you go into cardiac arrest, you're talking about like minutes, like very quickly after being attacked. This isn't like 8 hours later and someone finds you and you're in cardiac arrest. Most likely it happens very close to when you're actually attacked. So the key to this is like who was in the home and what do they know about Brooke being attacked? Like that's the bridge of information here that we don't have. Like, why was there someone in the home, and why was she injured, and what do they know about that? So that's the bit that the cops have not told us yet. All right, let me check what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Oh, Lisa's birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa, my friend. Have a great birthday. Happy 21st. That's right. 21st birthday. That's right. 21st. Um, Lisa says to wish her a good birthday, hit the like button. Yes, please do that. If it gets to 100, a fairy will grant Lisa one wish. Yeah, it'll happen. Let's see. Let's see. Hey Jules, how are you, my friend? Yeah, so wait, hold on. Yes, thank you to the people. Thank you. I appreciate it. To the people who support this channel, I very much appreciate it. Hey, our new videographer who we hired to do some video work. So we're getting a new intro and we're getting a new ending video for the channel too. So all the nice people who support the channel, um, your names will be scattered about in a different way. We used to do it in like a list. We've got a new idea where it's going to incorporate more of like you guys, like the people who support this channel directly. So I can't wait to show it to you. They're currently doing it. They're designing it and they're sending me samples and we're sort of like, yes, that doesn't work or I'd like different colors. So we're working on it and it's going to be very cool. So all those nice people that do that, um, you will be you will be represented. Hey, Snap Crackle Pop, how are you, my friend? Yeah, so she's not alive. So if people didn't guess, she did not survive that. They took her to hospital, tried to render first aid, but she was already gone. That cardiac arrest could have been sort of like that death rattle that people get, where when they're in like basically like their final moments on Earth, they get sort of like a something that can look like cardiac arrest, but it's like a death rattle, which is pretty horrific. So what else can I tell you about this tonight? I can tell you that I spoke to a journalist in New Jersey earlier today, and they were telling me that if there is no press conference by Monday, they are going to be even more concerned because they're saying the community, especially in Chester, they want that. They want something from their authorities just to calm everyone down because they're saying that there's a lot of not like there's just a lot of uneasiness over the situation that well, if it isn't the husband, and if we do have a random guy running around the neighborhood, that shouldn't everyone be aware of what's going on and at least be able to know, hey, we should lock our doors and do this and look out for someone. So they were telling me that if there's no press conference by about Monday next week, that yeah, that they would be concerned that there's something else going on here. Because, yeah, the community would like some reassurance that there's not a crazy murderer running around Chester in New Jersey, hurting 35-year-old women in their homes. So let's hope that's not the case, but hopefully we get a press conference. They're saying here, this is interesting too, that Fox News was able to reach the sister of her, but when they tried to call Connor Hanlon, they were not able to get in touch with him at all, which I found quite interesting. Yeah, I found that quite interesting. That apparently he's AWOL. So James Connor Hanlon, no one's been able to get in touch with him since the day that Brooke Hanlon was hurt. What does that mean? I don't know. Is he in a mental facility? I don't know, guys. I wish I knew, but we don't. So that is your update. You guys tell me what you think about the quote from her sister. Let me know what you think about that. Yeah, is this an update? Huh? I think we already watched that one. I was going to show you a video, but I think we already watched it. Let me have a look here. Yeah. So the sister says that she is staying quiet along with the rest of the family to avoid jeopardizing the investigation. Jeopardizing what exactly? So I don't know, guys. I think we're getting close to what actually happened here. They also saying here that people who have gone out to the neighborhood and actually looked at the home say the home appears to be untouched. That there's nothing like obvious from the outside that there's something wrong. And the other thing they said is both cars, the one that belonged to Brooke and the one that belonged to Connor, are both there, so both vehicles are at the home. It's not like one of them is missing or something like that. Apparently, both the vehicles belonging to the husband and wife are both at the property. So, is it a HIPAA issue? What state? New Jersey. New Jersey, maybe. Maybe they can't say anything because he really is in a mental facility. But then, wouldn't you just come out with the public and say, "We believe the case is resolved"? And we'll provide an update at a later time when we're legally able to. Like, I'm sure there's something about police being able to come out and say, we've charged someone, or we believe we know what happened. We're waiting for X, Y, and Z without naming anything. There's ways of doing that. So, yeah, very confusing. All right. I'm going to leave it there for this because I really don't have much more than the quotes from the sister today, but I just wanted you to hear that because I thought that was a very interesting way of putting it, a very interesting way of hearing from someone directly from the family. All right, I want to what what country is this? In Japan? So there's this story out of Japan. Have you guys heard of this? They're saying here, here I'll change the thing. Let me see if I can get a better update. Give me a sec. Um, so according to this, and I don't know, I'm hoping this is the correct screenshot here. You might be able to guess from the screenshot like what this is. Read what it says there. It says here police in Japan have arrested a 49-year-old woman after she allegedly sewed her 42-year-old female roommate lips together. How do you accomplish that? They're saying, according to multiple reports coming out of Japan, Masai Sakurai is alleged to have sewn her roommate's lip shut with a needle and thread on June 29th. They say the roommate, whose name has not been disclosed, was able to leave the house a day later around 1:30 p.m. local time while the suspect was out of the home. She reportedly wore a white face mask as she ran to a nearby shop carrying a piece of paper that read, "Please help me," as she was unable to speak. The alleged victim is reported to have been living with Sakurai since April of 2025. She reportedly told police that her fear of Sakurai prevented her from leaving sooner. She said, "I was afraid of her, so I couldn't escape right away." They're saying acquaintances of the alleged woman, Sakurai, told the TV that she reportedly had been letting people who ran away from their homes live in her home. So she was taking in homeless people. 149-year-old woman who used to work with Sakurai reportedly said she learned 3 years ago that Sakurai was taking care of girls who have nowhere to go after reaching out to their parents. Sakura is also said to have helped her roommates find jobs. Sounds like a good person for the most part. Then why did she take a needle and thread and sew this woman's face up? Bizarre. People who were staying at the residence are reportedly being questioned by police and are believed to have been present during the alleged incident. So there's multiple people who were there at the time when Sakurai sewed this woman's mouth shut. Huh. W- Weird. They're saying the motive behind the incident is currently being investigated by police, and police have not disclosed whether Sakurai has admitted to the alleged assault. No charges have been laid as of yet. Uh, okay. It sounds like something out of a horror movie. A woman runs down the street with a face mask with a piece of paper saying, "I can't speak because my mouth has been sewn shut." What the hell? I know. How could you do that with like no way of like sedating the woman? You would have to sedate her, right? To put her through that kind of injury? Hockey coaches do it? Hockey coaches to it? I don't know. Okay. It's a very weird offending. This is coming out of the Japan Times in Japan. So that's a pretty reputable newspaper in Japan. Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can take you to that reporting. Uh yeah, I can. So you guys can see it's coming out of the Japan Times. It's a pretty like reputable national paper in Japan. And they're saying, yeah, 49-year-old woman from Koga, Ibaraki Prefecture has been arrested for allegedly sewing her roommate's lips together. The ones on the face, not the other ones. They're saying Masai Sakurai was arrested on Monday on suspicion of injuring her 42-year-old roommate. And they're saying it was reported by NHK as well, which is also a massive reporter in Japan. NHK is like a massive media company. They're saying the police said the incident came to light after the victim fled the house on June 30 and ran into a nearby store. I don't know how that works and how you I don't know, it's bizarre, guys. Hold on. All right, sorry, just had to cough. Yeah, it's I don't know. Why would you subject a human to that? It's yeah, how could you do that without putting them under or like immobilizing them in some way? You'd have to have knocked them out or a furniture needle? I don't know if you could do it with that. Maybe she was eating her food, maybe, but she invited her there. A leather needle would work. I'm scared of you guys. How is it that you already know how to do this? SP1 said psychopaths often do good deeds to help others so they can do bad yeah, they often take advantage of people like that. Um, Here, let's have a look. I'm trying to read some of your comments about it. Hey Shasta, how are you, my friend? Why couldn't the woman cut the stitches herself? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it was very painful and she didn't want to like touch it because I mean it would be very sore. Maybe she just didn't want to do it. Sean said Japanese horror films, manga, and anime sometimes use sewn shut mouths as a symbol of enforced silence, secrets, punishment, or loss of identity. Yes, often when I lose my identity, that's what I do. I often do that to myself. Um, yeah, this is a weird reporting, guys. Out of Japan too. Let me have a look. What's her name? 49-year-old Masai Sakurai. All right, let's have a look. It's also on the Japan Wire from Kyoto News, which is a pretty another big news company over there. Let me have another look. It's also in Marinichi, Japan as well. It's being reported all over. They're saying that Masai Sakurai, a part-time worker living in Ibaraki Prefecture, and they're saying it's northeast of Tokyo, was arrested on Monday on suspicion of injuring the 42-year-old woman. Yeah, by sewing her mouth together. Absolutely bizarre. I don't think I've ever heard of this happening to someone before. I'm trying to see if we have a better photo of the woman. Hold on. Yeah, there is. There is a photo of the woman out of Japan. Here you go. So apparently this is the woman here who did the crime allegedly, and she is being reported out of multiple newspapers. Here's another one. That's after she was arrested by authorities. As you can see, this woman doesn't have the injuries to the face, but um, yeah, yeah, I reckon, yeah, it would hurt. You guys are like, it'll hurt. Yeah, of course it'll hurt. Imagine someone doing that to you, like sewing your face. It would be crazy. I don't know how you do that without someone moving. Like someone would, I really think they'd have to be knocked out. There's no way you could voluntarily go through that and not move, run away, get away from the pain, unless you were somehow handcuffed or immobilized. I don't think you would go through it. It's and to prove it happened, I guess. Maybe that's why she didn't cut it off to prove it had happened to her. She looks sleepy. She does look a little sleepy. Looks sleepy but unbothered. Yeah, she looks like I am the master criminal. Danny said she's a big girl. Wow. Then, people come in different sizes, Mr. Danny. Some of them are big, some of them are small, some of them are like other sizes. Yeah, I reckon it has to be, right? It has to be there has to be drugs or chlorophyll or something involved that would immobilize your victim. I can't see how you can do that to someone while they're awake and free moving. I don't think it's possible. She's a professional seamstress. What did she do? Put her face in the friggin' sewing machine and be like, "Yeah, just hold on a second, love. It'll be done in a second. Just put your face right here and let me sew up your head." I mean, I think you'd run away from that. Another thing for McSpunky to volunteer to get done. I don't know if he's here tonight. I don't know if he's here to find out his new hobby. Maybe. You guys can pass it on to him. Chipmunk said, "Don't tell your roommates they are just a stitch in time." Yeah, don't do that. Maybe she's high. I mean, could be. You guys might be right. If I get any more information about that one, I'll let you know, but that is all I have on that. That's weird. That is very, very strange. Uh-huh. So you guys remember when I told you last night that I thought I had a second story about a teacher? Well, I did, and I lost my link halfway through the show last night. There was another teacher we were supposed to talk about last night. Her name is Lynn Deddens. Do you guys remember this one? I'll show you her mugshot. Maybe that'll like refresh your memories. There's her mugshot, Lynn Deddens. And oh wait, no, sorry. I'm getting confused myself. Wait, is that no, no, no. Lynn Deddens is the DA. Sorry, my bad. It's Cassidy Carter. Cassidy Carter. Sorry, so many female teachers that have done this. I'm starting to lose my memory of who's who. But Cassidy Carter pleaded guilty to one count of battery, resulting in moderate bodily injury, and was sentenced to 2 years in jail. She's a former Indiana substitute teacher accused of sending naked photos to a 14-year-old middle school student. That do you guys remember this one? This one's about the middle school 14-year-old, and she's alleged to. Oh, Sean, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. They're saying here the teen told investigators that Carter sent him nude photos of herself. This is the one I was quoting last night. Remember, I told you there was one where she sent photos every time she had a shower? It's this woman. The teen investigator told Carter, that the teen told investigators Carter sent him nude photos of herself every time she took a shower, often late at night, and told him she was in love with him, a middle school kid. Investigators later examined the student's phone and found multiple messages and nude photographs of Carter. Ugh. I don't know if I want those nude photographs of her. I mean, even at 14, I probably would have said no, thank you. Let me see if we can find any more photos of her. Actually, let's see if we can get an update from the court on this one. What county is it? It's Indiana. Yeah, the prosecutor is Lynn Deddens in this particular case, and it is South Dearborn. South Dearborn. All right, let me see. Yeah, let's go to Fox 19 in Indiana, because why not?
Indiana substitute teacher is facing some charges after court documents say that she sent naked photos to a middle school student over Snapchat.
Our Courtney King joins us live in Dearborn County, where she spoke with the sheriff in an interview you will see only right here on Fox 19 Now.
Yeah, Trisha, Rob, we're live outside the Dearborn County Jail because this is where Cassidy Carter turned herself in earlier this morning, but she's since been released on bond. Court documents say 21-year-old Carter told the 14-year-old student that she was in love with him and that she wanted to have sex with him.
Shocking, no. Alarming, yes.
On Monday, prosecutors charged this woman, Cassidy Carter, with child solicitation.
On December 1st, one of our school resource officers was notified by school personnel that a student had disclosed that a 21-year-old substitute teacher had been sending nude photographs to the student over Snapchat.
Dearborn County Sheriff Shane McHenry says the accused crimes happened here at South Dearborn Middle School. Court documents say Carter subbed at the school from September to November of 2023.
But the fact that they felt comfortable enough to tell an adult to bring this forward was an important part of this investigation.
The affidavit says Carter became friends with the victim on Snapchat in November. It also says she told the student she was in love with him and sent him nude images. The victim told investigators Carter told him she wanted to have sex with him. While the sheriff says this is alarming, he also stresses the good work teachers do in the district.
But I don't want it to take away from the school system or the great educators we have in this county and our school systems.
But he also stresses the importance of students reaching out to school resource officers if they feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that's one of the main importance of having school resource officers is one, to protect the kids, but two, to build that rapport and relationship with them so that the students are comfortable enough to go to them.
And the sheriff says based on their investigation, they do not believe that there are any more victims out there. However, he does encourage parents to monitor their children's social media. We have reached out to the South Dearborn School District and we're still waiting to hear back. We'll update you as soon as we get a comment.
There you go. What is wrong with young female teachers? Why would you do that and send a 14-year-old naked photos of yourself coming out of the shower? I mean, why? I mean, I know why, but I mean, but why to a 14-year-old? Like, it's weird. It's just weird all over. Yeah, it was a while ago. She's been waiting for this for a while, her court process. Uh, so according to the details that I have here, Cassidy Carter was originally charged with child solicitation after she was accused of sending nude photos of herself to the 14-year-old, and that she was a substitute teacher for South Dearborn School Corporation. They're saying Dearborn County Prosecutor Lynn Deddens told the press that the child solicitation charge was amended because the victim no longer lives in the area and wanted no part in the case. Okay. According to the criminal complaint, Carter, who was 21 at the time of the alleged offense, became friends with the student on Snapchat around the beginning of November 2023. The student told a school resource officer about the alleged messages on December 1, 2023, prompting the investigation. The teen told investigators Carter sent him nude photos of herself every time she took a shower, often late at night, and told him that she was in love with him. It's just very odd offending. Very, very strange offending. I don't understand the attraction to doing this to like young boys, young girls, whoever, when you're an adult. I wonder if it's we're seeing that, we talked about like a failure to launch in these young people. I wonder if that's really what it is, and we're starting to see because of the rise of social media. I wonder if we're starting to see it now in some of the young adults where they don't have the hard boundaries like we used to, and they think every day is like high school. Like they just never left that mentality behind, the whole school mentality, and they just don't see a problem with it. I wonder if that's part of the offending. I mean, I don't know, but that's where I think we could find some explanation for it, especially with these females. The males are sort of different. It's a different drive. The drive there is not, I don't believe, the same as the females. Here, there's another video from WLWT here, which I can bring to you.
Woman charged with soliciting sex from an 8th grader. Prosecutors say 21-year-old Cassidy Carter was a substitute teacher at Southern Dearborn Middle School in Indiana from September to November. They say a 14-year-old student told investigators he became friends with Carter on Snapchat back in November, and she often sent him shower photos. The school district declined to comment on this case.
There you go, the world's shortest video for you. So yeah, there's the one I was trying to find last night that I lost. We were supposed to do it last night with the teacher video that we did. But yeah, so I don't know. Sending photos to a 14-year-old after you have a shower every night. Very odd. I don't know if we'll ever really figure out why, but she pled guilty to a reduced charge and was sentenced to 2 years in jail. So she didn't get very long. I mean, do you guys think 2 years for that type of offending is much of a deterrent? 2 years for sending what could have been tens of 20s of 30s of 40s of 50s of naked photos of her to an underage child. If a guy did that to a 14-year-old girl, would he have gotten 2 years in jail? And I don't see anything here about her being having to go on a register. There's nothing here about her having to go on a sex offender register after she gets out of jail either. Why such a light sentence for her? I'd love to know why, 'cause if a guy did this, they'd have to go on a sex register, they'd have to go, like, their whole life would be shut down because of it, but this seems like very soft sentencing, for her. Very, very soft. Yeah, it's because they reduced the charge instead of the other one, they got her for battery resulting in moderate bodily injury, which I don't know how you get that from sending photos. It's a very strange way of dealing with it. How do you get battery resulting in moderate bodily injury for this? Uh, Odd. Very, very strange. And then it's strange that the victim, who had moved away from the area, did not want to participate in court proceedings. But this is the same person. Yes, they're a victim, but they're the ones who reported it originally in December of 23. So if they were okay dobbing on her in 2023 and reporting what had happened to them, how come now they're just like, oh, I don't want anything to do with it? Almost like they were okay with what she did. It's all of it's a little odd. All of it's a little strange. So I don't think she's going to go back to being a teacher anymore, but I'd love to know how she got out of not having to go on the sex offender register for the next like 10 to 15 years. No, she doesn't have to go on it. Her only sentence was 2 years in jail because the crime that they ended up getting her with was not, it doesn't have a mandatory SO register in the sentencing, so they didn't have to make her do it. Espion said, same, there was an S word attempt for the kid that isn't disclosed and helped and held for mental health. Same, what? What? There was a S word attempt for the kid that isn't disclosed. Are you saying in this one there was? I mean, if that is true, maybe that's why they don't want to be involved. Sean said many young women cheapen themselves these days because it seems acceptable to them growing up in this world. Well, the rise of OnlyFans, I mean, we've all seen what happens. We've all seen what happens with that. Gayla said he's older now and maybe had to move due to this case. Could have been. Esperon said, that's all right. That's all right. If this was Florida, it would be life with parole. Yeah. Hey, Bengal. Should be 10 years at least. She got 2 years and no SO. Hey, Kelly J. Yeah, I definitely believe that the amount of cases I've done here on this particular subject, I really think it's something along the lines of what I was telling you. Some sort of like failure to leave that teenage high school world behind and completely launch into an adult life. And I think there's something there, especially for the female offenders. It's something like they still want to be like the queen of the high school and the popular girl, and I really think it's them not leaving that world behind because they become teachers. They go back to a high school or a middle school, and then they're all, yeah, a part of it. Guys, hold on. Someone's ringing my phone. Hold on. Sorry, guys. It was a courier. Courier was at my door, and he was ringing my phone at the same time, and I was like, Are you the one ringing me?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay." I had to run out and go grab the item, so that's why I'm a little out of breath. It's a bit of a long walk downstairs. All right, let's see. Sweetiverse said, "Maybe it started with Madonna wearing her underwear in public." I don't think we can blame Madonna for this one. I don't think Madonna's the one we can blame for for this. Teachers sending nude photos to teenagers. I don't think that's something like we can blame Madonna for a lot of things, but I don't think we can blame her for this. We can blame her for the rise in more nudity in music videos in the world. I don't think we can blame her for teachers doing this. I don't think Madonna's ever had any sort of reach with school teachers. And I think these girls would be too young to be from the world of Madonna. Being 21, they would have been born in the early 2000s. So way before the time. I mean, Madonna was way before the time of like this. Like she did all that stuff back in like the early 90s and late 80s when she had that book that was that very sexual book and all the media went mental. If Madonna made that book today and put it out, as say Madonna was the same age and she did it today, no one would bat an eyelid. No one would even care. There's so much worse things in that sex book that she put out back in the 90s. Yeah, there's so many different things today. Like we have girls who have sex with 1,000 men in 24 hours on OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like there's way worse things to get upset about than something like Madonna's coffee table book about sex. I don't think that even really matters anymore. Um, yeah, we're gonna do this one. By the way, there was some new information. Remember that case I brought you a couple of weeks ago about the girl who got attacked by the alligator, and she was in Florida. There is some new updates about what happened with that girl, and I really want to bring it to you because it's still one of the most bonkers cases I've ever covered. And hold on a minute, I'm just going to grab. There's a new video that details her post-mortem report. 1 minute. All right, I'm going to take you out to, I think it's WFTV Channel 9 from, actually, we'll go to WESH. We'll use the WESH one. I think that's better.
A report from the Orange County Medical Examiner shedding some new light on a deadly gator attack in Seminole County. Officials say 31-year-old Brittany Clark from Orlando was the woman killed.
Clark died after she was attacked by an alligator near the Bar Street trailhead at Little Big Econ State Forest on June 28th. That trailhead is still closed now, more than a week later.
West 2's Kennedy Mason is joining us live from the trailhead. Kennedy, that new report is confirming something we've all been waiting to hear, that they may have found the alligator that attacked Clark.
That's right, Sonica. A new report from the Orange County Medical Examiner's Office says that they found an alligator that matches the teeth marks that were on Clark. At the entrance of the Bar Street trailhead sits a bouquet of flowers. It's where an alligator attacked 31-year-old Brittany Clark from Orlando last week. A new report from the medical examiner's office reveals Clark, her boyfriend, and friend were swimming in shoulder-deep water when a gator grabbed her by the arm and began a death roll. Conservation biologist Joe Wazalewski says the gator may have been defending its territory.
That was a big alligator, which was a male. Females don't get that big, and that may certainly have been its territory.
The medical examiner's report goes on to say Clark's boyfriend grabbed the gator trying to free her. That's when it pulled both of them underwater. It says the gator released Clark briefly, then grabbed her other arm before finally letting go. At what point does an alligator let go?
There's no real answer. It's going to let go when it wants to. You can't pry it. You can't open it, and circumstances are just going to dictate when it's going to let go.
The report says Clark's boyfriend did CPR on her, but she died on the way to the hospital. The FWC caught and killed 2 gators, a 12 and 13 foot, following the attack. The medic.
Isn't that brutal? So she had one arm that had basically been torn off. The other arm had a compound fracture, a complete fracturing of the arm, and it was poking through the skin. So one arm had basically been torn off, and the other arm had been basically ripped off. It's just this poor girl. I mean, I wonder how much is like not knowing your surroundings. I guess it doesn't matter. Either way, it's an awful death. And then the way they used it to identify which alligator attacked her was matching the bite marks to the 2 alligator heads that they took. So they killed 2, chopped off the head and kept it and sent it to the medical examiner to try and match the teeth marks from the 2 different gators that they killed. And they're saying that the death roll is what basically tore her arm off. It's really horrific what happened to her. Let me see if I can find. No, that's not the one. There was another story. Yeah, this one. There was a better story. No, okay. Hold on. There's also some body cam. I'll see if I can find that too. No, okay. We're gonna have to go to a different article, unfortunately. The article that I want to do wouldn't let me into it. So give me a second. Death of Brittany Clark. Sorry, guys. 1 minute. Yeah, here we go. Finally. So what they're saying here, yeah, they said they identified it by the gruesome bite marks it left on her arm, which matched up with the teeth. Then they were saying a row of teeth on the gator's head is consistent with the teeth marks on the left arm. The animal had lunged and grabbed Clark's arm, then took her into a death roll, which is a gator behavior where the reptile latches onto the prey and violently spins in the water. The medical examiner report said that she had a partially severed left arm and an open fracture on her right arm, which had been caused by the death roll. And like we heard, the alligator let go at one point of one arm, and she was so unlucky that the alligator went and grabbed the other arm. It's, I feel like if it had just attacked the one arm, she might have lived. They're saying here, when first responders got to the scene, they actually detected a pulse very briefly, a very light pulse. She was rushed to hospital, but apparently died on the way. She was pronounced dead at 2:48 p.m. that day. And there's a little bit of like video footage, and I was gonna play it for you. Here, there's a little bit of like body cam when the officer got there. It's not very long, but I'll play it. Where is it? Here it is.
Where are we? It's that.
You gotta get rid of the gator or get away from the gator. Okay, and how bad is the bite? Both her arms. Both her arms. Both her arms are big? Are off, like basically. No, the gator's far away. The gator's far away.
All right, I'll leave it there. And yeah, like you could see, the boyfriend actually had her under that little bit of like a tent, trying to guard her from like the elements, I guess. But like you said, it's bad, it's bad. And he was saying like, I don't even know that poor boyfriend. I reckon he's got to have some sort of like trauma and probably needs a lot of help. Imagine seeing your girlfriend die in that way, that you saw her basically ripped apart. It's awful, really awful. Let's see. Chipmunk said, I hate that the gator gets killed for the people being in its territory. Like they said, they believe that the reason it died was only because it was defending its territory. That's it. It was doing like a natural act. I want to know what their thought decision was on going into that water. Like I was saying when we first covered this story, it must be like a natural thing in Florida to know that you can't go into most of the water in Florida, especially like rivers and creeks and that type of thing, bayous, because there's gators everywhere. Like it must be a pretty common knowledge. So I want to know why they actually went into that waterway and what was the thinking of doing that. Like, did you not think the gators were there? Is it somewhere you had gone before and never been attacked by a gator? Like, I would love to know that part of it. Like, what's the thought process for going into that type of waterway? Because you don't, in Australia, up north, you just don't do it. You don't go into that type of waterway at all, ever. Like it is well known, it is drummed into your head. You don't go into that type of waterway, otherwise you're basically going to get killed. Here, I'll show you a photo. You want to see a photo from Australia? Hold on. There's like this one photo that constantly goes around, and I was gonna show it to you if I can find it. It's like a side of a road near where it gets flooded, and there's just gators. I mean, crocodiles everywhere. Hold on, I'm just trying to see if I can find the right one. Is it that one? I can't find the right one, but here's like a small photo from the Department of Animals and Wildlife in Northern Territory. Like you can see, like there's just so many crocodile heads in the water, and they just like are everywhere. Let me see if I can find another one for you. And they're big. These things are huge, man. Like I don't know about you, but I don't want to be swimming in the water with this. Look at the size of this thing, and I'm sure your gators in the US get to a similar size of it, right? And these things are everywhere. Like that's why this guy is catching them to like check on them and measure them and tag them. But look at that thing. It's almost bigger than the boat. And you have to make your mind up about whether you want to go swimming in the water where multiple of these might be. I don't know, guys. I don't want to swim in the water where this thing lives. Stepping stones? Yeah, I wouldn't try stepping on it. You know, the ones in Australia, they can jump. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but they can jump out of the water. Watch this. They can jump out of the water. They can actually like extend their body, almost their entire body length out of the water. That's why when you go on these cruises in Australia where you go in the top end and you go on the boat on the river, they tell you don't like put your arms outside of the boat because these things can jump out of the water and snap your arm off. And they have been known to attack anything outside of the boat. There you go. So yeah, I mean, I just don't know the thought process of wanting to go in the water with that. Let's see. Sweetniverse said in Florida, it probably would be better to swim in a pool. Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Go to a swimming pool, right? Let's see. Danny said, "Did you see the Netflix documentary about the active volcano people visited and it erupted?" I think I recommended that documentary to you. I think I told you about that documentary. Yes, that documentary was absolutely horrific. One of the worst natural disaster documentaries I've ever watched. That is slightly different though. The volcano that exploded, what is it called? White Island in New Zealand. When that volcano exploded, it had not exploded like that in like 50 years. The crocodiles live in the water every day. So I mean, 50 years, crocodile every day. I mean, the odds are not quite the same. I mean, I get why people went to the volcano, and no one had ever been hurt doing it before. But many people have been killed by crocodile or alligator. So that's the only difference I could see. Yeah, the documentary is terrible, terrible. The little boy that was flung into the enclosure, oh, in the UK, that boy that got thrown over, he's had 5 operations. Oh, poor kid. Um, yeah, I mean, in 2 years, but I don't think it was one of those, like, massive explosions. It would vent things every so often, like vent sulfur every so often, but it didn't, like, explode like a nuclear bomb. I mean, that was mental, the one that happened. It's, like, insane. You told me the thought process? Let me have a look, my friend. Where is it? You read that they wanted to cool off quickly. You're like, okay, my needs to cool off because I need to do it quickly, the alligators won't get me. So it's still a weird thought process. Um, yeah, but Danny, I believe it was like a smaller explosion. Like I wish I could show it to you. I did a lot of research on this topic when it came out. The one that happened where the people were hurt, that was considered like that was considered that it had only happened twice in the last 100 years. It had had smaller eruptions where it had let off like I said sulfur gas and things like that, but not like blown its top. Like that's what it did. It blew the top off it. It was yeah, like a nuclear bomb. So, I mean, I get there's a risk going there, but in the US, it would never have happened because of the litigation risk. Well, I do agree that the White Island explosion, there were people there that were negligent in their job because a warning had gone out to the tour operators from the Geological Association in New Zealand, who told them that there was increased activity underground, like there was mini earthquakes and what they could see as a sign of eruption, and they still took people out there that day. Like the almighty dollar was more important than keeping people safe. They took people out there even though they knew there was an increased risk of an eruption. It was bizarre. Yeah, those people got sued to the Stone Age, Danny. They were in court recently and they are still trying to wiggle their way out of being held accountable. They keep going to court, they shut down the business, they keep moving assets and trying to get money away so that they don't have to pay the survivors. It's a real nasty court battle. Hold on, I'll show it to you if you haven't seen the update. Hold on. All right, let me see if I can find the update. What happened to it? Um, yeah, I'll take you to this one. This one I think was one of the other ones here.
Nearly 4 years since tourists and guides ran for their lives, the owners of White Island walk free. Brothers Peter, James and Andrew Buttle inherited Fakari, meaning the dramatic volcano. Their grandfather, George Raymond Buttle, bought it on a whim in 1936. And over recent decades, Fakari made their money as tourism companies paid fees and commissions to bring visitors to the volcano. But everything changed on December 9, 2019. Over the past 9 weeks, an Auckland court has heard the harrowing stories of loss and survival. WorkSafe New Zealand alleged the brothers were individually liable for not understanding and managing the risks of Fakari. But today, Judge Evangelos Thomas agreed with the defence, saying there was no way to know the role each brother played.
There is no evidence of what happened at all among the directors behind the scenes. WorkSafe could easily have got this information. All they needed to do was ask for it. The result then is that each of the charges against Andrew, James and Peter Buttle is dismissed.
The Buttles' lawyer, James Kearney, has always argued the brothers could not be prosecuted as a group.
The investigation, insofar as it related to allegations against the three brothers, was inadequate.
So the three brothers got away on the court side of things, like the criminal side with WorkSafe, but I believe that there was still a civil case to go ahead from all the victims. But what they did was they shut down their tourism things, and they basically they were fined something like, well, one of the safari companies, not the one that the brother owned, but Volcanic Air Safaris was fined close to $500,000 for their role in it. And then in October of 2023, WML, which is the ones that the Buttle brothers owned, it's their company, was initially found guilty of health and safety failings. However, in February 2025, Justice Simon Moore quashed the conviction, determining that WML merely granted access to the island and did not have active control over the commercial walking tours themselves. The individual charges against the brothers were also dismissed earlier in the trial. The tour operators, though, were ordered to pay millions of dollars in fines and restitution to the victims of the tragedy. And they're saying New Zealand's volcano monitoring agency, GNS Science, were also fined $50,000 for failing to adequately consult tourists about the risks of volcanic activity. So people were held accountable, but WorkSafe could have done a better job as well. They could have really tried to pin them. So this is the media release that came out from the High Court in New Zealand at the time, and basically going through so WorkSafe is like OSHA. So if you guys in America have OSHA, OSHA is sort of like WorkSafe. WorkSafe down here in Australia and New Zealand, they basically do the work of OSHA. So that's what it is down here. Same thing. So yeah, they basically said that while the brothers own the island, they weren't necessarily working on it every day, and they just basically leased access to the island to the tour companies, and that the people who should actually get in trouble are the major tour providers, because they're the ones who actually actively took people onto the island and didn't carry out the safety requirements when there was active risk for an eruption. Yeah, so the companies had to pay out millions of dollars, but the brothers somehow escaped. Even though originally they were found guilty, So, Chipmunk said, don't people know the state of volcano when they visit? If it was showing activity, then if they had no clue, that's one thing. If they knew and went, that's no. So the companies did not tell them that there was a heightened risk of an eruption. They didn't tell them anything. And then when they were on the island, the volcano exploded. So the one kid that lost his whole family, yeah, he's the only one left out of his family. I think he's the one who stayed behind on the boat and didn't go. There was one that stayed behind on the boat on the cruise ship and didn't go, but the rest of the family went and basically lost his entire family because they all died on the island. It's, I mean, horrific. I mean, that, wait, do we have that video again? Where is it? Yeah. Where's that photo of the helicopter? Let me see if I can find that photo of the heli. Because to me, the helicopter's always like astounded me. Like, how does that happen? Yeah, here. That is what the explosion did to a helicopter. Like, exhibit 1. This thing just looks crumpled. And look at all the covering all over it too. Look at the blades on it. Ah, the kid was there and heard their screams. There was another person, I can't remember if it was male or female, but they didn't want to go. And they stayed on the cruise ship and then their family died on the island. There was another person who their family member was never found. They found everyone else but not this one guy. And I think he was a tour guide, but they never found him. And he was actually going back and rescuing people. And then all of a sudden, they never found him. And then what they think happened is overnight, there was a thunderstorm that went over the island and it dumped massive amounts of rain. And they think possibly he died. And then the rain washed his body into the ocean and then he sunk to the bottom of the ocean. So there's heaps of tragic stories out of White Island. It's very very sad. If you haven't watched the documentary, it's very interesting but very emotional. Sean said it's sometimes better to keep that company running in order for them to pay debt in civil matters. Otherwise, they go bankrupt and the injured lose out. A lot of them were shut down, Sean. A lot of them have been closed up, unfortunately. So I don't know how much money the victims will actually get. Yeah, no, if you haven't watched that documentary that was on Netflix, give it a watch. It really is worth watching. It's very well done. Okay, I have another story, and I'm just going to try get it loaded up for you. It's from Massachusetts, which we don't do a lot of stories out of Mass, but it is a good one. Hold on. So it's about a guy called John Emmerich or Emmerich. And I don't know if you have heard about this guy, but he's actually from Kentucky. And they are accusing him of keeping his wife's body in their marital home. For here, I'll show you a photo of him. Do you guys want to see his mugshot? There's his mugshot. And I'll read it to you. So his name is John. He's 59 years old, was arrested on charges of abuse of a corpse in connection with his wife's death. According to the police, they're saying that John intentionally treated a corpse in a way that would outrage ordinary family sensibilities. He's currently in Hardin County Detention Center. They're saying a Kentucky man was arrested after police allege he kept his wife's body on the couch in their home for months after she died. They're saying he was taken into custody on Friday, June 19, on charges of abuse of a corpse. According to a police citation, he intentionally treated a corpse in a way that would outrage ordinary family sensibilities. And they're saying here that the Hardin County Sheriff's Office received a call on June 17 from a niece who allegedly told authorities that she hadn't spoken to her 61-year-old aunt Veronica since January. They're saying that the niece had been calling her, but she was never able to talk to her aunt. She tried to contact her via Facebook, and her aunt quit responding. According to the authorities, deputies went to the home in Radcliffe, but nobody answered the door. And under those circumstances, there's no other information that would warrant breaking into the house. The following day, the niece, with the assistance of the police, went to the home on Homestead Avenue. The niece went inside the home, and John allegedly showed her where her aunt was. Her aunt was laying on the couch in the residence, covered in blankets, and she was deceased and had been dead for quite some time. It was later discovered that she had been dead since February. They're saying, according to the investigating agency, John said he didn't want to be without her, and he had been putting some type of laundry detergent on her to control the odor. The authorities say the case is still under active investigation. They say there's a possibility more charges will be coming in the future, but it's all from the coroner's office. They are waiting on that. They're saying it is believed that she had died of natural causes. John will be arraigned on June 22nd, or was arraigned, and a judge set his bond at $5,000. They're saying he remains behind bars at Hardin County right now. So he has not been, he did not make his bail, apparently. Yeah, let me see if I get a better quality of that photo. There's his mugshot. I don't know. Do you think that guy looks like someone who might be in the right state of mind? He looks like someone who may be keeping a body on his couch, right? He does look a little bit like a caveman, yeah. He was putting laundry detergent on her. I don't know how laundry detergent helps you keep someone from decomposition. I don't know how that works. Um, where is his what's on his forehead? Probably a swastika. No, that's Manson. Wrong guy. Wrong guy. Um, Chipmunk said, I thought it was wrinkles, but it looks like a figure. Let's have a look. What'd you say on his forehead? It does sort of look like a V, right? Like an old tattoo made in like the old kind of calligraphy. There's sort of like a V here. Maybe it's V for Veronica, like her name was Veronica. Isn't there a V there? Look. There's a V shape. And it's almost in like that old English typeface. I wonder if he carved a V into his head. There is sort of like a weird V shape there. Very, very strange. A star in his wrinkles? Lindy said he should be in a mental health hospital, not jail. I mean, anyone that keeps a body on their couch wrapped in blankets, yes, yes. I think you guys are right. Oh, hey, Lindsay, I didn't see you before, my friend. I didn't see you before. Hey, I want to just say something because Lynn's here. You know, the reason we're able to head to the trial in September is because of people like Lynn. I want to thank her so much. Because of Lynn's help, we got really close to our target amount that we needed for the trial. I think we were missing about $300, but with the nice help with Lynn and that, we got really close to it. So we should be okay. And I'm looking forward to going and being at a live trial again in September. But I have to thank people like Lynn. She's so sweet. I don't know what I'd do without people like Lynn and Kathy Lynch and Sean and a million other people. My friend, Woman of Steel. There's millions of people I could name, but you all in your small parts allow us to go do big things like these big multi-month trials and things like that. So I am looking forward to it. I'm glad we sort of um, got past all the issues that we had like a couple of months ago where everything got delayed. That was a bit of a spanner in the works, but now everything's sorted and we are definitely going in September. So it'll be good. It'll be good. Yeah, I appreciate it, my friend. You guys are all very kind. Um, please loan John a razor. I don't know if he wants it. He needs a haircut for sure. You see a person type figure? Let me look up his name. Let me see if we can get a higher def image of that. Let's see. Can we get a better mugshot? Let me go to WDRB. Okay, they got something here at WDRB. Let's see if we can watch it.
Police arrested a man after he allegedly kept his wife's dead body in their home for several months. John Emmerich was arrested June 19th and charged with abuse of a corpse. Hardin County Sheriff's deputies say they were making a welfare check when Emmerich said his wife passed away in February. They say he failed to notify authorities when she died and kept her in the home. According to the citation, police say he, quote, treated a corpse in a way that would outrage ordinary family sensibilities. Emmerich is still behind bars. A judge set his bond at $5,000 cash.
I wonder why he didn't post the bond. It's only 5 grand, right? I mean, I'm not saying that everyone has 5 grand, but it's not the highest bond I've ever heard of for having a corpse on in your home. I mean, 5 grand and you can be out of jail. Like you guys are saying, I wonder if he doesn't physically know like he's in trouble. If he's having a mental breakdown due to the death of his wife, maybe he doesn't even realize he's in trouble. Maybe he doesn't even realize how to get out of jail. Like if you're having that type of mental breakdown where you're keeping a person's body in your home, you may not even mentally understand how the court works and how to get out, and you have to get someone to post your bail. I'm surprised the family, like the niece and that, have not helped him. So I don't know. It doesn't say how long they were married. Hold on, I'll go through the comments. I've been trying to search for more information while you guys were watching the video. Let me see if I can find anything else on Mr. Enric or Emric. Let's have a look. So it's WDRB. What what area is that? They said he's from Louisville. Okay, so it's Louisville. Sorry, I thought it was Boston, but no, it's Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, they did say it was a Kentucky man. Let's see. Is there anything else we can find about this guy? So he's 59 years old. It doesn't say how long they were married for, but the lady's name is Veronica. Like they have the same last name, Emmerich. That's interesting. There's a woman here called Veronica Bennett with the last name. Her last name is Emmerich too. I was just trying to see if we can find a photo of her. I cannot find a photo of her. No. Cannot find photos of her, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry guys. It's very few information about who they are, where they came from, things like that, unfortunately. And I cannot find anything. Huh. Is that her? They said she died in February, right? Is this her? Where is this? This is in I'm seeing something here. It says Veronica, Ronnie, Maria, Jewel, Nee, Emmerich. But I wonder if that's because they don't want to use her married name because of what he did to her. What did they say that niece was called? Let's have a look. What'd they call that niece? I'm just going to see if we can find out like what they called that niece. Because there's a bunch of like relatives' names on here. Okay, she'd been calling her. They don't give a name for the niece. That's annoying. Because there is an obituary here that says, this might not be her. This one says she was married to someone called Howard Jewell. It doesn't sound like the right lady. Although she died around the same time frame. Weird that she has a very similar name. Man accused of leaving. No. Yeah, I can't find anything else, unfortunately. Just that he's still in jail according to the reports that I have. So yeah, no more information, unfortunately. Like how long were they married? Um, does he have any family? Is there anyone helping him in jail? They're saying that yeah, he remains behind bars at Hardin County Detention Center and that no one has posted the bail for him. So yeah, it sounds like he's just went through a hard time of, when you lose the one that you love and he didn't want to let it go. It's very sad. Was she getting social security payment? Maybe that is a factor. I mean, we often hear when people die that the other partner keeps cashing the social security. Sweetie said, when my grandma died, my grandpa went around the reception saying, hold on, let's turn that off. There we go. My grandma died. My grandpa went around the reception saying there's no longer a reason for him to live. So he was going to go. 2 weeks later, he died in his sleep. When my grandfather died like 3 years ago, my grandma, like, even though we all knew it was coming because he'd been sick for a long time, my grandma was not coping very well for the first little while after he died. And I think the family just sort of rallied around her and made her sort of the focal point of everything and tried to get her like back into a different routine. And then eventually over time she learned how to mold her life into a different life because she didn't have to care for him anymore. She didn't have to do everything and devote her life to him. And I think when he died, she felt a little bit lost and didn't know what to do with her time. But slowly over the last couple of years, she's sort of, found things that interest her and she's got new friends that she hangs out with and sort of made like a different life. She's would never have done this when granddad was alive. And now she's doing all these fun things and she goes out on her own and having a lot of fun. Yeah, this lady was only 61. She's pretty young. They said there's no, the medical examiner said there's no foul play. No foul play. She died of natural causes, yeah. No, 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 he didn't hurt her. No, no. Yeah, too young for social security. Bengal said, I'm guessing you covered the missing Aussie chick in Vegas. Yeah, we did. We covered her. I haven't looked up any updates. I just figured the other people were going to do it. Hold on. I haven't been keeping up with it, to be honest. I just didn't bother anymore. I'm just seeing if there's any updates for her. We did cover it at the time. I'm just trying to see if there's any. Oh, shut up. Okay. There we go. There's no real updates except for there's like been a little bit of like video and stuff about it. Like there was this that came out about a week ago, a guy with the glasses, the recording glasses, There's her right there outside of a 7-Eleven. But I think other than that, there's been no real. I'm just trying to see if there's any bigger update. Yeah, I don't think there has been. That guy was sort of hassling her, asking her if she wanted to go out on a date or if she had a boyfriend. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. They're saying here sniffer dogs were called in to have a look for her, but nothing that I can see right now that's like a good update. Here, let me check last 24 hours. Yeah, I don't see anything worthwhile talking about today, guys. If there's some big update where they find her or something, that'd be good news. I hope they do. But I don't see anything. Yeah, it's very sad. Very sad. How do you go missing in Las Vegas and then people can't find you? I know it's a big city, but oh my God, these stupid ads that play on these stupid websites. Shut up. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I hope they find her. It's been a long time, eh? Always answer yes unless you're interested. Yeah. Is it Conor McGregor? I don't think it is. It is a little creepy though, but I mean, there's probably heaps of women every day that get bothered by men in various cities around the world. I mean it's bad behavior. It's creepy behavior, but I don't think it's like abnormal. Um Kathy said, when my grandfather passed, my grandmother found a lot of enjoyment spying on her neighbors. What? She became like a busybody? That's not good. Yeah, if Sally Contarino, if we find any new news, I'll bring it to you. But so far, they brought in sniffer dogs. They found that video of her outside the 7-Eleven where the guy is hassling her. But other than that, there's been no real good updates in it. I wish her family all the best, and I hope they are able to eventually bring her home alive and well. But I'm just going to leave it there, guys. We tried to reach out to the family, and it seems like they only want certain channels help. So if they don't want me to cover it, then I won't. So I'll let other channels cover it. All right. I got one more story for you. Story of Michael Thompson. I don't know if you heard this story, but it's about his estranged wife, Kimberly Thompson. Do you guys remember this? There was a trial, and finally, he was found guilty of murdering his estranged wife, Kimberly. I've been watching it at night, trying to catch up on it, and it's from the UK. So I want to try and get to, yeah, I'm going to take you out to the Northamptonshire Police. I hope I said that right. Yeah, have a listen to this and I'll give you some more details.
On Wednesday, the 8th of July, 2026, we are outside Nottingham Crown Court, where 56-year-old Michael Thompson has been found guilty of the rape and murder of his estranged wife, Kimberly. On Saturday, the 9th of August, 2025, emergency services were called to 24 Pinewood Road, Northampton, after Thompson reported finding Kimberly deceased. The scene encountered by paramedics and police had been deliberately staged to appear as though Kimberly had taken her own life. However, as news of her death spread to loved ones, they raised concerns about the fact that Thompson may be responsible for this. As a result of those concerns, Thompson was arrested on the 12th of August 2025 and a homicide investigation was launched. During the investigation, a forensic pathologist concluded that Kimberly had died as a result of external obstruction of the airway. Further inquiries established that the scene had been staged to suggest that Kimberly had taken an overdose of alcohol and medication. Toxicology evidence subsequently disproved this. Thompson was interviewed on numerous occasions and denied all offences throughout. He was later charged with rape, murder, and 2 counts of perverting the course of justice on the 17th of September 2025. The trial commenced on the 18th of May 2026, and I hope today's verdict provides some reassurance to Kim's friends and family that justice has been achieved. Thompson will be sentenced on Tuesday, the 14th of July, and faces a mandatory life sentence with a minimum term yet to be determined by the court. Throughout our investigation, it became clear that Kimberly had been subjected to domestic abuse for much of her relationship with Thompson, with manipulation, coercive controlling behaviour and physical violence becoming the norm in her life.
It's a really sad case. Like you guys just heard, there was a really strange stuff to do with the crime scene. He tried to make it look like she had done it herself, even after he suffocated her in her final moments. They're saying he's staging the scene to make it appear as an S word and posting to her social media accounts to make her seem like she was still alive. They're saying a man has been found guilty. Michael Thompson, 56, convicted on Wednesday of the R word and murder of Kimberly Thompson following a 6 week trial at Nottingham Crown Court in England. And they're saying here jurors found Thompson guilty of 2 counts of perverting the course of justice for attempting to cover up both the R word and the murder, according to the press release. Prosecutors allege that he R worded her, suffocated Kimberly sometime between midnight and 3:30 a.m. on August 9th, 2025. They're saying this happened in the couple's home that they still shared despite having separated 2 years earlier. The couple had been married for 19 years but were in the process of divorcing, and the court heard Kimberly had started a new relationship and was planning to move out of the home and had requested about £65,000 as part of the divorce settlement between the two of them. Now, I'll show you a photo of Michael Thompson here. There is his mugshot from when he was taken into custody. And it's saying here, following the murder, Thompson staged Kimberly's bedroom to make it appear as that she had done it herself, posted messages on her social media accounts, and called East Midlands Ambulance Service about 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Authorities were initially told Kimberly had consumed alcohol and tablets before she was found unresponsive, and that according to the BBC, a post-mortem examination found no alcohol in her system and only low levels of caffeine, paracetamol, and codeine. Kimberly's family and friends told investigators they did not believe that she had done it herself and described a history of domestic abuse during the marriage to him, prompting police to launch a murder investigation on August 12th. This says here, it became clear throughout the investigation that Kim had been subjected to domestic abuse for much of her relationship with Thompson, with manipulation, coercive control, and physical violence the norm. And they're saying over the years, Thompson stripped Kim's confidence away, but in the time since their separation, friends and family began to see the old Kim reemerge with a renewed enthusiasm for life. According to the police, Thompson brutally R-worded her and murdered her. Kimberly basically murdered Kimberly before taking the time to stage her death in order to make people believe that she had done it herself. Detectives also said the investigation revealed Kimberly had contacted a domestic abuse support service in 2013, but later withdrew her complaint because she feared what would happen if she reported the abuse. And it ended up, maybe if she had continued with that back in 2013, maybe it would have been a different story. The fact that they lived in the same house for 2 years after separation is very odd, very strange for, it's probably part of his controlling that he wouldn't let her leave or, something like that. It was a way of still being with her without being with her, a last gasp of control.
Over the years, Thompson systematically stripped away Kim's confidence. However, following their separation, her friends and family began to see the old Kim re-emerge with a renewed enthusiasm and optimism for life. Not only did Thompson brutally rape and murder Kim, he then took time to stage the scene in an attempt to make others believe that she had taken her own life. I have no doubt that these actions have caused further distress to Kim's loved ones, who have shown remarkable dignity and strength throughout this investigation and the trial. The court heard how Kim had contacted a domestic abuse service in 2013, but later withdrew her complaint because she feared the consequences of reporting. The level of abuse that she endured over the course of 2 decades is truly horrific, and I want to take this opportunity to speak to anyone directly who is experiencing something similar. Help is available. We have specially trained officers dedicated to working with victims and survivors of domestic abuse, including coercive and controlling behaviour and physical violence. There are many organisations out there that can provide support and practical assistance if you wish to speak to the police as well. Thank you.
I won't be the only person that this has happened to. This is the moment Zaina Iman was searched by Greater Manchester.
I don't know what that story was, but I want to watch that later. I don't know what this is. 4 missing hours. The footage behind an alleged R word while this woman was in custody. Apparently, they stripped her of her clothes. I want to watch this later. I'm going to keep that here. If you guys want to watch that one that you got a little bit of audio from, it looks like an interesting case out of the UK. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Oh, you stupid thing. Here we go. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. You guys can watch that one later. I might do that one tomorrow. But it's a very sad case. The one that we just talked about Kimberly, the fact that this guy was so controlling, so the fact that he would try and make it seem like she had done it herself is just awful. I don't know what it takes to be that kind of person, but I guess it is the last grasp of control over her. The fact that she was ready to leave. She had asked him for £65,000 in the divorce settlement. So she was probably going to use that money to move on with her life, to buy a new property and get out of there and get away from this guy. And he probably couldn't handle it. He probably thought, hey, we're still 2 years of being separated and she still lives in our marital home. I have a chance. I have a chance to win her back, to keep her. And then when he realized that she was still going, that was probably it for him. That was probably it. He's probably like, she's probably never coming back. She's never gonna be mine again. So he did what he did. By the way, does his eyes look awfully freaking dilated in this photo? Like, I can't see his pupil, like the center bit, it looks very dilated. Like, it looks like only the outside rim of the eyeball, or like the center of the eye, the iris, has any color. I don't know if he's on some sort of like drugs in this photo, but his eyes are like really sort of moon saucer big. Yeah, I don't understand people like that either. You're like, so I love her so much. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna one, sexually assault her in her final moments, and I'm gonna kill her. Like it's just ridiculous. This guy deserves everything he gets. He's gonna be sentenced in a couple of weeks' time. So in a couple of weeks' time, we'll find out. I'm expecting it'll be life in prison. It'll be life in prison due to the heinousness of his final actions towards her, including setting up the crime scene to make it look like she had done it to herself, but also the sexual component. They were separated. There was no sexual relationship between them, and there hadn't been for a number of years. The fact that that was one of the things he did before he killed her tells me that this was a control problem, that he, yeah, used this sexual attack as a way of controlling her and dominating her. And she was such a sweet looking girl. Look, here's a photo of her. What a beautiful lady. What a beautiful girl how old is she? She was 43. What a pretty girl. Way too good for him. Way too good for him. It's a shame she never found her second life away from him. Um, Warner still said they do look dilated. Yeah, they do, right? They look really dilated. By the way, I thanked a bunch of people before for helping the channel. I should have thanked my friend Penguin too. Penguin's so kind. So many people. JDR, Sean. There's heaps of people. Mick Spunky as well. There's people who do super chats and all the people who are members. You know, the people who do the members every month, it really helps out. So I appreciate it. Because like we get 2 paychecks a month. We get the ones that we get like from like PayPal and things like that. And then we get one later in the month that's like all the super chats and the memberships and that. Those ones help out a lot too. So thank you to all the people who are members of this channel. I appreciate it. Bengal says DV is so horrible. We had a crazy case on the Gold Coast last week. A guy set himself on fire in his ex's house. I don't know if I heard about that one. I know there was something on the Gold Coast last week. Let me have a look. A man has died after he set a house on fire in Coomera on the Gold Coast. It says 2 men killed, another fighting for life. No, that was, yeah, June 30. They're saying 2 men have died and another is fighting for life after a woman's ex-partner set fire to a Gold Coast home overnight in a horrific DV incident. Police believe a 38-year-old man set the Hope Island home on fire at about 11:45 p.m., leaving him and 4 others trapped inside. Wow, that fire. Here, I'll show you the blaze. This house is well alight. Look at that. And there was multiple people trapped in there. Wow. Jeez. That's what the house looked like after. Here, let me show it to you. That's all that was left of like the house. You know, Gold Coast and Brisbane homes are big and they're beautiful. Like they're very like mansiony. They're almost like McMansions. Wow, and he did that to people that he didn't really know. So who was it? So it was Windsor's father, 84-year-old Robert Marsh, and her new partner, and her new partner. That doesn't make sense. 84-year-old Windsor's father, 84-year-old Robert Marsh, and her new partner. They're saying her father, and her new partner attempted to break down the locked bedroom door to save the alleged perpetrator. It appears they were trying to check on his welfare. They were rescued by the Inferno by hero neighbors. Wow. This is crazy. So was it Kathy? So Kathy Windsor is the daughter. There's Kathy and her father. So was it Kathy's new boyfriend was the person they were trying to get? They're saying the alleged perpetrator locked himself in a downstairs bedroom during the fire and was found dead at the scene. They're saying the fire was quite intense. It actually broke through the first floor to the second floor and into the ceiling void. Yeah, it looked like that in their video. So they believe it was a 38-year-old man set the Hope Island home on fire. And then there was people like Kathy and Robert trapped inside. They're saying the woman has sustained back injuries and she was at the Gold Coast University Hospital receiving treatment. So, why did they do this? So, was it a family DV incident or was it like a lover DV incident? I'm trying to figure it out too. What was it? 2 men killed and another fighting for life in a suspected DV fire. It sounds like it's more like an internal family dispute on this one. At least that's what it reads like. It reads like it was like within the family. Yeah, let me try and find out more information. Like, who was it? No, that doesn't help me. Yeah, we'll go to 9 News.
Have died and another is fighting for life in what's being described as a domestic violence attack on the Gold Coast. Police say a man set fire to his ex-partner's home, forcing her to jump from the balcony.
A Hope Island home glowing in the dark, with 5 people trapped inside as fire quickly spread across 2 stories just before midnight.
The fire was quite intense. It's actually broken through from the first floor to the second floor into the ceiling void.
Police say a 38-year-old man was locked inside a downstairs bedroom alone.
The occupant of that room potentially set fire to that room themselves.
He was the ex-partner of 59-year-old Kathy Windsor, who was also home at the time. Her father, 84-year-old Robert Marsh, and Kathy's new partner attempted to break down that locked bedroom door.
So the partner was the ex-partner, the one who caused the fire and then locked himself in a room in the home and then died, was 38 years old. That's interesting. Very young. Like, he's 38. She's like quite a bit older. But yeah, interesting. Her ex-partner set the house on. Yeah, isn't that weird? He broke into the home, set fire to it, and then hid in a room until the fire engulfed him. Bizarre. Really bizarre. Like, this is the type of thing with DV. Yeah, good night, my friend. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all your help. You are very lovely. Thank you for everything. Yeah, very strange. Very strange. Yeah, that's what threw me off. It was the ages. I was like, it's who with who? And I mean, age is just a number. We shouldn't do that. But it just sort of made it confusing. I was like, who's the partner and who's the son and who's the ex-boyfriend? It was a little all over the shop. Yeah, very sad that 2 men died, including the perpetrator in that one. Why like, yeah, that's the thing with DV. There is no why. There's just this. What an awful thing. And now their home is gone. Like, their home is just gone. You can't live in this. All because of a selfish guy. Look at that. You would hope insurance will cover it, but it's basically ruined. You're gonna have to basically knock that down and start again. We can't repair that. You're probably gonna have to make a new home. How awful. All because she dated a guy and then broke up with him. This is what he did and died in the home. It's bizarre. Very, very strange. Including the one we talked about in England. I will bring you that sentencing when it happens in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, we should have the sentencing for him, for this fella here. And I should be able to bring that to you in 2 weeks' time. And yeah, I hope all her family remember her, and hopefully something good will come out of her death. Her name was Kimberly Thompson. She was 43 years old, way too young to die in that kind of situation. And yeah, that guy basically trapped her, and because he couldn't keep her, he decided the only thing he could do was kill her. There's another photo of her right there. What an awful story. Um, let's hope this guy gets life in jail. I'm sure it'll be something like that. Let me have a look. If there's a sentencing mandate for this. Oh, okay. He's actually going to be sentenced next week. Next week he has a sentencing. Let me see. What is the mandatory guideline for it? Um, let's see what sentencing. Oh, it is. It's a mandatory life sentence. Mandatory. He's saying here it's mandatory life sentence for murder conviction under UK law, and the judge at Nottingham Crown Court must impose a life sentence. But the thing that they will argue and determine is if a minimum term that can be served, or is it a whole life order. We'll have to see whether he gets a whole life order or he gets a parole date. I hope not. He doesn't deserve it. He deserves to go and rot in jail for the rest of his life. Does not deserve a parole date. Yeah, I know. Very, very nice lady. Very nice lady. All right, let's wrap it up for the night. Hey, this went way too quick. That was 2 hours, really? That felt like it went way too fast, guys. Way too fast. Let me just let me check some stuff. Did I get any messages from you guys? Yes, from Sean. He sent me some Japanese money. What? Hold on. Hmm. Sean, they like held your payment because I think you sent it. How did you send it in Japanese dollars? He sent me like 795 yen. Was it 700? No, 537 yen, which is like $5. Yeah. $5 Australian. I don't know if it'll ever clear. I don't know. Didn't even know you could do that. Hey, Bengal. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, thank you too. All right. Hey, thank you to all the nice people. Like I said, all the people that helped out um, with the trial stuff. We got very close. We got very close, which I'm very thankful for. I'm very thankful because it's going to allow me to head to Ballarat at least for the first week or so because staying out there is like really expensive. So we're going to go for at least the first week and we'll work out what we'll do after that. So we'll be there, and I'll be there for opening day, and I'll bring you all the information like I did with Aaron Patterson. We're gonna have a good trial. I think it's going to be eye-opening for everyone, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. Going to be good, but long. Did you guys hear what I said the other day about how long it might be? They're saying it's going to be like 8 weeks or more. So it could be 8 weeks, 2 months, or more, which we did with Aaron Patterson too. So it's about the same. Gail said, "Did you ever get your money back for?" No. So the first reservation that we did early this year to head out to Ballarat, I never got the money back for it. So unfortunately, we lost like $1,000. We lost like $1,000 on it. Unfortunately, there's nothing I could have done with it though. It was due to go to trial. We only found out like a week beforehand that we weren't going to do that, and we ended up losing $1,000 for. So that was for the first week of hotels up at Ballarat. And then, yeah, we never got it back. We tried to claim through insurance, we couldn't get it. We tried to claim through the hotel itself. What we tried to ask them was, could we just vacate those dates? And then when we knew a time, could we just use that money as credit for like new dates in the future? And they said no. They're like, once the date is selected, that's it. That's all you can do. We did. We put in a dispute and they declined it because they said there's nothing there that would have stopped me from going to Ballarat and staying in Ballarat. They're like, there's nothing that the hotel did wrong. They didn't prevent me from like accessing what I bought, and they basically declined our chargeback. So we tried everything. We tried insurance, we tried working with the hotel, we tried working with the credit card company. It just yeah, basically it's my fault. I well it's my fault, but it's not at the same time. It's just the way things go sometimes, guys. It's like, you try to be ready for these things and sometimes you get messed up. So yeah. I don't think I ever told that story before. I think I told a little bit of it, but not all of it. Yeah, it's just look, nothing we could have done, guys. we were supposed to be going on the 4th of April, and we were ready to go, and it is what it is. What does their policy say? That's what their policy said, because there's nothing stopping me. Like the reason they declined it was they're saying there's nothing stopping me from going to Ballarat and staying at the hotel. They're like it, they don't care that the event got moved. They're like that's not our problem. They're like the hotel is open and the accommodation is there, and I was like okay, there's not yeah. Let me see. Yeah, it isn't. It wasn't. It was very frustrating. It took like 3 months to get the report back from the credit card company, and we thought we might win it, but we never end up winning it. So, ah, I did. I did not mean to put that up. I'm trying to click on Gala's thing. There we go. They put the prices up when they know. Yeah, you guys should have seen the prices for Aaron Patterson. The prices when I first booked were quite cheap. I think like 120 a night or something. Um, we had our Airbnb canceled on us. We booked an Airbnb for Aaron. It ended up getting canceled. We booked another hotel and they ended up canceling and then putting the price up. We then booked at the new price and they accepted it. The original price was like 120 and then they canceled my booking and then the new price was like 200 a night. 200 a night to stay in Morwell. And so we paid it. It was like $1,000 and yeah, they did accept it, but they just put the price up. Well, I hope they closed that room. I hope so. As it was paid for. They probably did. They probably did. All right. Yeah, look, dramas and fun things of travel and like if you guys are traveling for holidays, things like this happen. So it's not unique to me. It's not unique to being a YouTuber. It's just travel things. So Gayla said, I'm sure that's illegal here. Yeah, it's not here. Woman still said in the US, they usually ask for 48 hours notice and you can get a refund. Well, that's what I thought too. We had, I think it was 2 weeks notice, and they were saying that it was non-refundable. They said it was not refundable. They said that yeah, basically that all deposits, whether it's full or partial, were not refundable. So a bit of a pain in the bum. And we're not staying with them now. So when we go back to Ballarat in September, I am not paying them to stay there again. We're going to choose, we got a different place that we're going to go stay at. So it's all good. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. But look, hey, I love you all. Be back tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday night for you guys. Friday afternoon for me. So I'll see you then. Hey, thanks to McSpunky. I know Sean said McSpunky did a super chat, buddy. I appreciate that. I don't know what he said. What did he say? Let me get it up on my screen. What did he say? Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you said to ping and all. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. It's very kind of you. And to the people who give like memberships away and or have a membership, I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Thavi said sometimes they let you refund and cancel up till the day before. I wish they did that. It would have saved me a lot of money. I wish that's what I got. Yeah, it may have been when we booked it with it. I don't know if I checked, but it may have been in their policy and I didn't see it. So sucks, but it's all good. We're still gonna go. We're still gonna be there. And I wouldn't miss it for the world because I really want to cover this and show it to you. And I want to show you Ballarat. We've talked so much about the town. I don't know what just happened, and I don't know if you can hear me. So I'm gonna go. It just disconnected. Bye. Okay, what is going on? Guys, I don't know if you can hear me. it has basically locked me out of my controls. All right. Bye. Goodbye, guys. Bye. Yeah, guys, it will not let me out of my